From just a turnover standpoint, this is one of your lowest turnover games, only 7. You guys only had 4 in the second quarter, and then limited past that. What have you just seen in the offensive growth to limit those type of turnovers as you guys continue to move throughout the season?
Trying to do the right thing as far as sharing the ball, moving the ball, and it's great to see the turnovers were not there. But most importantly for us, we have to execute offensively. We have to execute offensively. We have to know what offense to run versus what defense has been played against us.
And then do you attribute this loss to more of just experience versus youth, or is it kind of a combination of going up against an experienced team along with mistakes that were made?
Well, we made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, and we know that. We recognize the mistakes we made and where we have to get better. We're playing against a very good basketball team, championship DNA over there. Not saying that we don't have that type of DNA, but they've won. They've been there. They know, and the momentum that they started to gain, they've held on to it.
Coach Chris.
So how would you assess the Angels' game against Asia? Obviously, that's a tough challenge, but not seeing it person, how would you assess how she did for?
Well, she's fine. She's. I've said this numerous times. She's played against some incredibly talented post players in this league, veterans who understand this game very well, savvy, super smart, super intelligent, know where they want to go, where they want to get to, how they want to get there, and they're a focal point of their offense. So she's about the challenge. She's definitely about the challenge, and it's only going to make her better. It's only going to make her better because she's willing to guard the best post player she possibly can. It's going to make her much better down the stretch.
We'll go back to Carly.
Just to kind of follow up on that, Angel was the youngest player in WNBA history to record 9 consecutive double-doubles. I know it feels like a question we've asked every game, but what have you just seen out of her growth and her poise and everything that she's been able to do, in this first half of the season?
She's. You said that she's growing. She knows what she does best, and the one thing about it, she's incredibly hard on herself. Incredibly hard on herself. But as far as rebounding the ball, we've talked about it a lot of how we knew that would translate over, and now she's getting a better understanding of how to score around that rim and what it's going to take, with the length that you're playing against, the size that you're playing against, the strength that you're playing against. She's learning, and she's learning fast.
Steven?
Hey, Coach, the last 2 games, you were able to come out in the second half and come out to, I think it was a 7 and 6-0 run to win the race to the first time out. You talked about sustaining that execution. I'm curious, what's the next step for you all to get to doing that and then compiling that the rest of the way?
Well, it's execution for us. Every single time we have to know what we want to run, who we're targeting, and the play that's necessary at that time. And then recognizing what defense is being played against us, and then running the plays that we must run against those certain type of defense. You saw a boxing 1. You saw a 2-3. Shouldn't scare you at all. It should drop you a little bit more, but we're learning how to deal with a boxing 1 and 2-3. So we'll just get back to the drawing board, and we'll do more of that in practice, and more of that in practice, and more of that in practice until we got a better feel for it.
Go back to Chris.
Well, we talked a lot about before the game, with the press conference with Becky, we kind of seen you too in this position that you are, but after a game like this, against a team that's that complete with championship DNA, I'm just kind of curious, what did you learn about yourself as a coach?
When there's a team like that, I'm hard on me. I'll look at me before I look at the players. I always have and always will. How can I get better? How can I be better? And I'll always do that. I'll go back when I look at him, I'll look at me.
We'll go second row on your right. The mic over a second.
Coach Kennedy obviously plays with a level of passion that's, sometimes right on the edge. Where have you seen her grow in terms of managing the emotional side of it without losing any of the fire that she needs, that you all need from her?
Well, she understands. She understands what it takes, how she must be down the stretch. We always talk about keep a cool head in a hot game. She understands how difficult it can be, and she fights through adverse moments. And that's what we're getting to as a team, is fighting through adverse moments, and she recognizes what she must bring to this team and stay under control doing so. So she recognizes.
We'll go to Amy.
Just curious the decision behind Dana's minutes tonight, if there was anything that led to her limited minutes.
No, that group was rolling, and we were just trying to see if they could roll us up out of the hump that we were in.
And then, apologies if this one was asked already, but when it comes to your guys' three-point game, and you've got a team that can really attack you from deep, how do you keep up? What's the method to keeping up with a team that's so lethal from three?
Wait, lost with your question.
The Aces three-point game, how do you make up for kind of that imbalance?
They play better D. They have to play better D. We know how good they are from behind the arc. That's what they do. And they have a hell of a post player on a block who demands a lot of attention. So we have to be better covering the three-point line. That's just plain and simple. There's no crazy explanation. We just have to be better covering the arc. And a lot of times we are. And against this team, you have to be very, very smart for 40 minutes of basketball, because that's a team who's very experienced playing together. Ball moves. So you have to be very, very smart defensive, great one-on-one defenders, and then collectively getting it done.
We'll go to Chris again, and then Steven, last week for Coach.
We talked a little bit about how some players, you choose to have some players be in because of the flow of the game, how the game is being dictated with wide lineups that you have. How do you go about kind of feeling that, the flow of the game, and kind of decide those players? And is there a method behind that too, or is it just come?
No, it's no method. It's no method at all. It's just what you see. What you see as far as the flow of the game and how that group might be flowing. And you want to kind of flow it as best as possible.
Steven?
Hey, Coach, you talked about how your team is looking to continue to adapt in the half court based off of how teams are guarding you. Just feels like they've been loading up in the gaps a little bit more lately. How have you seen you all kind of adjust and counterpunch to what you've been seeing here?
We have to make major adjustments to that. I think every one of you saw that we must be better versus a zone. We must be much better versus a zone. And I think we will get there. We'll take a look at the field and see where we are, how we could have attacked the zone, and we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. I put that on me. We'll work even harder versus the zone. So we're comfortable. I want us all to be comfortable in what we do.
Any more for Coach? All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.